So if we have the EDI as number, the first point,
I want to just pop this up. This is something from, I've just been Googling to try to see what comes up when you type in 21st century skills or those kinds of things. And here's one that keeps popping up a lot. And this relates to schools in terms of educating children, but it ties in with the kinds of things that what you studied here is listed.
And I came up with self-directed, collaborative, critical thinking and problem solving, flexibility and adaptability, innovation and improvement, life and career awareness. Those are 21st century skill sets that you need to be aware of. And those are words that would jump out at me. Innovation, flexibility, problem solving, I mean, just collaborative, those kinds of things really just.
What else did you do?
The ones that I have: self-direction,
and these are similar.
Innovation, yeah, collaboration. Oh, flexibility and adaptability. Because even people that come and talk to our student teachers, granted it's only education, but even Jean Scout from our Career Development Center said that people don't want graduates trained so specifically. They want graduates who have a foundational thing, but then that they're, flexible, adaptive.
Anything else?
I've got something here from Michigan on definition of a framework for 21st century leadership. There's two statements. Talks about scholars and authors differing, but there's three common themes: shared leadership, leadership as relationship, and leadership in community. And then they go on to say leadership defined is holistic, centered in groups or organizations rather than individuals engaged in the group heart, mind, spirit, and energy. So the 21st century concepts, if you go there, are different, and the values, the action values that they've listed are all about visioning together, leading together, bringing together, building community, acting together, developing energy, communication, and the role. So it's a different orientation.
What was the third one, Carol? Shared leadership, leadership in community, and what else? Relation something?
Yes, leadership as relationship. But so maybe we might reconsider leaving in the 21st century concept if we're talking about continuous improvement in organizations, that we are talking about developing leaders that can work in groups, can have relationships. The business model that attracts, that you see in the paper, as you say, there's no substance to it really, and I would agree, but it is attracting the skills that we're talking about.
Right, because what attracts me about that, I don't want to dwell on Miriam, but inherent in that advertisement, to me, when they say that you're gonna be done in this is just like for the master's game, done in 2 years. Online, and see, that to me that incorporates adult learning theory, 21st century skills. Just that, hey, they're sensitive to that. I don't have a lot of time. It's going to be focused. I can move through with a cohort. I mean, those are the kinds of things that you don't have to say that. It's just it's there. You know what I mean? It's just you just feel that it's there. I'm not saying it's a great ad, but it was interesting. I wasn't reading for that, and it caught my eye. But I think we have to be really attuned to what other people are doing around us. I know we want rigor. I'm not saying that, but we also want to be realistic and think of who we're attracting, and the time that they have and the demands that they have. And I want to make sure that we don't create something that's going to be so heavy and bogged down that we're not sensitive to that. Unfortunately, I can tell you what's selling right now with teaching, I'm just speaking of teaching, is stout. They have their 316 license with a reading specialist, which is the the most highly sought after additional teaching license, that's all online. Their 317's all online. They're moving cohorts through. River Falls is moving cohorts through. You know, it's very different. And I know we have one cohort here, but it seems like people are just being more responsive to what's out there. St. Thomas is attracting most of our ed leaders because they're going there for the administrative license because it meets on weekends. It responds to, you know, busy lives. It just, you know, there's just all this stuff that it engenders, whether it's a quality program, I'm not saying that, but just, you know what I'm saying? I know I'm talking more about the delivery.
I think it's really important to draw this distinction between the delivery
right.
Model, which is...
But we have to keep that in mind too, and that's what I think part of that 21st century thing is, you know?
Well, if you're saying that 21st century learners are
different,
kind of place bound, and we have to market to place bound learners, then I think we get that.
I think 21st century learners are not place bound. I say the opposite.
Well, what I mean with place bound is that they want to stay in their place. They don't necessarily have to come.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, in their kind of region, but not come to the come to a campus. Kind of
yeah. So they're not site-based learners; they're place bound learners.
Right.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the stuff that's out there is saying that that's the case. That if you're going to craft graduate programs now, you need to go to where the learners are.
Right.
Now,
that's
the reason that we are approaching this is because there's been a kind of an outcry from our leaders in this area says that there's a lot of things around us, but Eau Claire's reputation still stands, and we would like to get a program, a comparable program, probably a better program at Eau Claire.
I totally agree.
Even though there's all this other competition, if you could craft something at Eau Claire, we will come. Okay.
It has to be distinctive.
Yeah.
That has to be distinctive, right? With the rigor, yeah.
Well, you know, well.
You don't have to respond to me. I'm sorry, I said my piece.
Well, and I think you can.
You know,
the part that is attractive to the Marion and some of the others is the delivery system.
Correct.
You know, is very appealing, that part of it. But you know, in my mind, and this is, I think, part of what Dwight is saying, a lot of what I hear is that what's being delivered is not very good. Regardless of the delivery system, if you don't have a good, coherent program that goes over the transom, you know, you're not accomplishing what it is that you want to accomplish.
Well, and I'm wondering, like, I mean, there is 21st century is a buzzword that's really a buzzword that's out there, and people are looking at. How about if we did something? You don't pop it back up. Maybe this gets to be too many adjectives together, but it does keep it more succinct. How about if we did something like, the mission of this program is to develop dynamic 21st century leaders as learners who successfully promote continuous improvement within and between organizations.
Good.
And then we can get into core values or pieces underneath that.
I like that.
That then helps to get at explanation of what 21st century is, and certainly the issue relating to, based on scanning things and whatnot, with global awareness, EDI issues are key components of those 21st century.
My only thought is that 21st century as an adjective is the same thing that we're talking about now. What does that mean? But if you say leaders as learners for the 21st century, then that situates 21st century as a futuristic place, and that describes the dynamism of our program.
That's evolved.
That in order to be prepared for the 21st century, you need to possess these sort of skill sets. So instead of describing what are 21st century skill sets, we're talking about preparing a leader's learner to within this context.